Most people still live according to the old pattern of sacrifice. In the ancient world, the sacrifice was external. An animal's blood was poured out so that the human being did not have to bring the whole of himself to the altar. Something outside died in his place. The intensity of death was borrowed. The seriousness of life force released was tasted without the person having to die to anything in himself. This was the religion of blood. Christ inverted the entire operation. The true sacrifice is no longer a substitute offered in the outer world. It is the offering of the residual claim inside the soul, the private demand that life or another person or status or the future must complete what we ourselves have withheld. The altar moves within. The moment a man stops demanding that the world finish him, the psychic center of gravity shifts. What was previously projected outward as need, resentment, or hunger for recognition is gathered back into the vessel of the heart. The fire that once burned in external drama is now applied to the untransformed material of the self. This is the real meaning of the inner altar, the place where the residual claim is consciously placed into the flame of awareness and surrendered without remainder. The old bargain is often misunderstood. Many imagine that dark forces simply seize the soul against its will. In alchemical truth, the deeper problem is that the soul itself withholds. Incarnation is a contract of mutual exchange. The spirit descends into matter and, in return, is given the opportunity to transmute the raw substance of earthly experience into gold. When a portion of the self is held back, when the residual claim is preserved as a private demand upon life, the contract is broken from our side. The unoffered material remains crude. It cannot be calcined, dissolved, or recombined. Because it is never brought fully into the vessel, it stays volatile and seeks expression through projection. The powers that feed on incomplete incarnation do not need to steal what has already been refused. They simply latch onto the unworked substance we ourselves have left untransmuted. Until that offering is made, the unoffered material does not remain inert. It sinks into the shadow and becomes charged. Psychologically, the repressed emotion is split off from conscious ownership. Energetically, it continues to seek expression. The psyche then projects it onto outer figures and situations so that the emotion can be felt at a safe distance. Because the feeling is real, the projection feels real and meaningful. The other person appears to be the true cause of the anger, the emptiness, or the longing. In reality, the other is only the screen. The intensity belongs to the unintegrated content within. On the astral level, this process is even more precise. The unoffered psychic substance becomes a living formation in the subconscious, a secondary entity built from repeated denial and withheld feeling. These formations are what the older traditions called demons, autonomous astral structures that feed on the energy of the projection cycle. Once formed, they influence perception, color emotional reactions, and attract corresponding outer circumstances so that the same drama can be reenacted. The man believes he is responding to the world. In truth, he is responding to the echo of what he refused to bring to the altar. This mechanism reaches its extreme in the psychopath. Cut off from his own capacity to feel and to grieve, he can no longer experience his pain directly. Instead, he seeks the reflection of pain in others. Watching another suffer supplies a vicarious intensity that his own frozen interior can no longer generate. The pleasure is not simple cruelty. It is the only remaining way that denied life force can be tasted. The same principle operates more subtly in ordinary men who remain attached to ambition and worldly respect. The hunger for recognition is a residual claim that has been dressed in socially acceptable clothes. When the world fails to grant the expected honor, resentment accumulates. The man appears driven and competent, yet inwardly he is still bargaining with life, still refusing the total offering. The one who actually makes the pure offering looks, to ordinary eyes, like the fool. He gives his whole soul to life. He does not keep a private reserve of demand. He does not play the part of the already liberated man. Because he has placed the last claim into the fire, the vessel begins to clear. What the Rosicrucians called the pure astral body, and what the alchemists knew as the fixed volatile, becomes transparent. Through that clarity, higher influences can move. Angelic intelligences, living spiritual beings that serve the hierarchical order, can shine through a vessel that is no longer clouded by private demand. The man does not become the source of the light, he becomes a place where the light is permitted to appear. Others cannot see the divine intelligence operating through him. They see only the absence of the usual defenses and call it naivety or foolishness. This is the movement from blood to spirit, from the sacrifice of something outside to the total offering of what is still held back inside. Until that offering is made, every external solution, whether animal, enemy, ideology, status, or simulation, remains only another form of the old bargain. The rose does not bloom in the marketplace of substituted sacrifices. It blooms only in the enclosed garden of a heart that has finally stopped withholding and has become clear enough for something greater than itself to shine through.